everyone, and welcome to our Wellbeing Parent Workshop. Today we're going to look at some different aspects of mental health and well-being and think about some strategies and ways that you can support your child at home with their well-being. So first of all, let's explore mental health. What is mental health? So mental health is an individual's cognitive, behavioural and emotional well-being. It's something that we all have, including every child and young person, and mental health is as important to a child's safety and well-being as their physical health. It can impact on all aspects of their life, including their educational attainment, their relationships and their physical well-being. It's really important to note as well that mental health can also change over time to varying degrees of seriousness and for different reasons. In school, we focus on children's mental health as well as their physical health, and we see that it's something that we need to always be focusing on in everything we do. So what is well-being? Well-being is defined by the Oxford English Dictionary as the state of being comfortable, healthy or happy. However, it's important to realise that well-being is a much broader concept than moment-to-moment happiness. Feelings of well-being are fundamental to the overall health of an individual, enabling them to successfully overcome difficulties and achieve what they want out of life. Past experiences, attitudes and outlook can all impact well-being, as can physical or emotional trauma following specific incidents. What one person feels is their perfect state of well-being may be completely different to another person, and this stands to reason as we all have very different goals, ambitions and personalities. Our physical, mental, emotional and social health are all equally important, and they all contribute to our well-being. As parents, educators and childcare workers, it's important that we foster this in children from a very young age. Let's have a look at self-esteem. So self-esteem is the opinion we have of ourselves. When we have a healthy self-esteem, we tend to feel positive about ourselves and about life in general. It makes us better able to deal with life's ups and downs. When our self-esteem is low, we tend to see ourselves and our lives in a more negative light and critical light. We also feel less able to take on the challenges that life throws at us. So some children and young people may have difficulties communicating thoughts and feelings about their mental health and their well-being. Some young children may also try to hide how they're feeling. They might be worried that they aren't going to be taken seriously. They might believe that other people won't understand. They may have had a negative experience talking about their thoughts and feelings in the past, and maybe they feel like they've not been listened to. They may feel that nobody can help them, and they may also have a fear of being dismissed or labelled as an attention seeker or crazy. And children and young people may not always have the language or ability to communicate exactly how they feel. They may be unsure who to talk to and how to talk about their problems. And it's really difficult for children to express themselves and talk about their concerns. Some children may feel uncomfortable talking to an adult. They might prefer to turn to other young people, their peers, or maybe older brothers and sisters, or they may like to express their thoughts and feelings through creative activities, and that's where we might start to see some issues. Children of different ages with different developmental levels may not be able to express themselves or communicate clearly or easily. They may require more help, patience, and different ways of expressing themselves. It's also important to consider providing a range of ways for children to express themselves. So this could be through drawing, listening, creating music, writing their thoughts and feelings down in a journal. And again, they may not want to share these with you. They may want to keep them private until they're ready to speak. Like adults, children have positive and negative feelings, and this is completely normal. It's useful to reflect on the emotions and feelings you've seen in your child and be mindful of any behaviour changes that may suggest that there are some differences in their emotional well-being and something that maybe we can support with. Behaviour changes. Sudden mood and behaviour changes could include unexplained physical changes such as weight loss or weight gain, sudden poor academic behaviour or performance, sleeping problems, changes in social habits such as withdrawal or avoidance of family and friends, random outbursts of emotion, mood swings, lack of self-belief, bedwetting, school refusal, attention seeking, worries about self-image and tummy aches and other illnesses. Worry is a feeling of unease and fear which can be known as anxiety. It incorporates both the emotions and the physical sensations we might experience when we are worried or nervous about something. Although we usually find it unpleasant, worry is related to the fight or flight response, and that's a normal biological reaction to feeling threatened. So worry and anxiety is actually natural. It is common to feel anxious from time to time, and it's common to feel tense. And it's important that we explain that to children as well. We know ourselves as adults that anxiety is part of everyday life, but it's also for children to understand that it's okay to be worried about changes in their life. Many children have worries and anxieties related to school, friendships, schoolwork, and home life. And these worries may seem quite small to us as adults, but it's really important that we acknowledge them and recognise when children are concerned and really take the time to listen. There's lots of things that could cause a change in emotional health in both children and adults. Factors such as moving house, changing school, even changing a year group or a teacher or a best friend leaving, or somebody even moving away from them in the classroom if they've moved spaces and they don't sit next to somebody anymore. That can cause children to feel anxious. Friendships changing, puberty, health conditions, their own or a family member, bullying, things that are happening in the media, bereavement of a family member or a pet, difficulties with their education, changes in family situation, and self-image. So let's have a look at some strategies for improving health and well-being. It's really important that we make space and time to talk. It's important that children and young people are comfortable speaking about their mental health. And here the picture says it's good to talk. And I think that's a really good reminder. We remind the children at school that it's good to talk. It's good to find somebody that you can speak to. It's important to create an open environment where children and young people can talk about how they feel without judgment. And it's vital that children and young people know who they can talk to and make this pool of people as wide as possible. At school, we ask the children to identify at least 5 people, and we ask them to show us on their hand, and they name 5 people that they feel comfortable talking to at school. And this can be anybody, it can be any member of staff, it might be their class teacher, it might be a teacher they've had previously, it might be a member of the SLT, it might be a member of the midday supervisor team, it could be their teaching assistant, it could be someone who teaches them for ICT or PE. It could be anyone that they feel comfortable talking to. In schools, we have discussions about mental health all the time and well-being, and we integrate these discussions into the curriculum and put these on an equal footing with physical health. It's also important to give children and young people space to talk about what is happening globally, nationally, and locally. These can be quite difficult subjects. For example, talking about coronavirus. At first, a lot of us, we didn't want to worry the children, but now that it's become part of everyday life, the children need to have some understanding of what's happening that's appropriate to their age and that they can ask the questions. Especially around Christmas, we had a lot of concerns about Father Christmas. Would he be able to come because of coronavirus? And we spoke a lot about this at school and said, what could Father Christmas do to make himself, keep himself safe? So children have real anxieties about things that we might not think about as adults, and it's important that we talk about these and discuss these with them. Having regular conversations, so choosing an appropriate time when others aren't around or where you won't be interrupted. Actively listen to how your child feels. Be patient and let your child talk in their own time, so try not to force these conversations but allow them the time and the opportunity to speak. Make it clear that you support your child. And it is difficult to make time to talk. We're all really, really busy, and there's lots of things that we juggle as parents and as teachers, but we need to remember that the children are juggling a lot as well, and they need the time to talk, whether it's just a quiet time at home, you know, a time where they might be able to open up a little bit more. Exercise. Staying physically active can have positive effects on mental health. It can reduce stress, anxiety, and other mental health issues, and it can increase self-esteem. Encouraging children and young people to build physical activity into their daily routines, from something simple like taking a walk to participating in extracurricular sports activities. Now, at the moment, things are a little strange for us, but we can still make sure that we're getting in lots of different movement breaks throughout the day. It's really important if the children are sitting down, doing their work on the computer or on an iPad. It's important that we get them to move every so often. And at school, we have brain breaks where we send the children outside and we move around, stand up behind our desk and just do something for a few minutes, just to get the body moving and to focus our attention on something else. It really does help with mental health. It's also important to explain to children that it's important for your body to have a rest as well as being physically active, because too much physical exertion may have a negative effect on children's physical health, which then can affect children's well-being. I know myself as an adult, if I go out early in the morning and I have time to exercise, I feel better for the rest of the day because I know that I've got out, I've thought about something else, I've cleared my mind, I'm ready to focus on the day ahead, and I feel like I've done something for me before the daily stresses occur. It's really difficult at the moment because we're all juggling a lot, especially working from home. Lots of us still going to work and childcare and work and homeschooling. So it is really, really difficult. But even short, sharp bursts of exercise will really help your child with their mental health. Diet is something that's really important as well because diet can affect your mood without realizing. Some foods can actually mimic and trigger symptoms of worrying, such as drinking too much caffeine, eating lots of sugar, or just having a poor diet in general. And the NHS Change for Life website is a website we use a lot at school. There's lots of fantastic activities about staying active. There's lots of food swaps on there, lots of healthy recipes that you could make with your child at home that encourage a healthy diet. And it's just important to think food for mood and think of boosting our mood by trying to keep as healthy diet as possible, trying to have our 5 a day, if not more, if we can, and just thinking about those things that maybe we should cut back on to reduce anxiety. Maintaining a routine is really important in a child's life. It can help give children a sense of security and help to reduce stress. So some tips: we can plan regular weekly activities such as seeing friends and relatives or taking part in a club or hobby. At the moment, these will be online, but still it's quite nice to have those regular conversations that children would have had if they were used to seeing grandparents at the weekend. Maybe do a phone call at the weekend at the same time that you would have usually visited, just to keep the routine there for them. Having regular meal times, this can be difficult when family life is really busy, but letting the children know what to expect, that we're all going to sit down together, have a family meal time, it's at the same time roughly each day, so there is some structure to the day. Set and stick to bedtimes, particularly for younger children, as sleep is really important for children's mental and physical well-being. Establish a night routine for younger children, such as reading a story before bed, and with older children, think about a routine that works for them, including getting their homework done or doing their home learning at the moment, seeing friends, extracurricular activities, and time offline. Promoting healthy relationships is really important because relationships play a key part in every child or young person's well-being, from friends and teachers to parents, carers, and siblings. Being able to form healthy relationships can help children feel secure and supported. Experiencing unhealthy relationships can have a long-lasting negative impact on a child's well-being. It's important as well at the moment to think about online well-being. The internet and social media are integral to many children and young people's lives. They can have a positive impact on children's well-being by helping them connect to family friends, and express themselves in new ways. But the online world also carries risks that may affect children and young people's safety and mental health. So it's important to encourage children to talk about how being online makes them feel. What do they like and dislike about it? What can you do to help children feel happy and safe when they are online? We do a lot of work in our ICT lessons about e-safety, and the children understand that who they can speak to if something makes them feel sad. But quite often, children may feel embarrassed by something that happens online. If somebody says something to them, they may want to hide away and not speak to you about it. So having an open environment where you regularly talk about staying safe online and talking about any issues will really help to maintain their well-being. Making sure that children know who they can talk to if they have any concerns or questions. Again, it might be that they come into school and speak to a trusted adult in school because they're not sure how to speak about it at home and they're worried about maybe getting in trouble, but making sure that they feel safe, that they've got somebody they can talk to. Trying to have a balance between screen time and interaction at home. This is really difficult, especially at the moment when lots of us are working from home. We have our own work to do as well. And I know myself with my daughter, sometimes you just have to get something done. So, it's have some screen time, but try to make sure that there is a balance and make sure that that screen time isn't taking over so that children are still having that adult and sibling interaction at home and we're not focusing purely on being online. Some activities for improving health and well-being. We do some of these at school and they're really, really useful for the children. You could create an art box where children can put their feelings into words or drawings. So just encourage them to find their pencils and their paper and draw how they're feeling, using board games or card games to take their mind off how they're feeling. Some children may like to start a mood journal or maybe a diary to help them record what they're feeling and why. And on the Childline website, there's a buddy zone that's aimed at the under 12s, which includes activities and games, and has lots about talking to each other and talking about well-being. Listening to music can help children to relax and express themselves. Dancing can also alleviate stress and promote positive mental health. So something like this is really great, even for one of your brain breaks, just to ask the children to put on their favourite song, have a little boogie. It helps them to stay positive, stay focused, and it just can alleviate stress straight away. Distraction is a really good technique as well. If we try to encourage the children to shift their focus and distract them from the worry they're feeling, for example, looking at a picture of something they find interesting or comforting, focusing on the details, the colours, and any smells or sounds. So this could be a picture of somewhere they've been before that they've really enjoyed, maybe a holiday, maybe visiting somebody's house, maybe a family trip that you've done before, something that really makes them feel happy and safe, and really get them to unpick what's in that picture and think about that to distract them from their worries. Breathing. There's lots of breathing exercises you can do with children. We will try one now, and you can do short breathing exercises or longer breathing exercises. There's lots of exercises online to help you. We'll try this one, and I'll just talk you through it, and it's something that you could try with your child at home. Find a comfortable, relaxed position. You could be seated on a chair or on the floor or on a cushion. Keep your back upright, but not too tight. Hands resting wherever they're comfortable. Tongue on the roof of your mouth or wherever it's comfortable. Notice and relax your body. Try to notice the shape of your body, its weight. Let yourself relax and become curious about your body seated here, the sensations it experiences, the touch, the connection with the floor or the chair. Relax any areas of tightness or tension. Just breathe. Tune into your breath. Feel the natural flow of breath in and out. You don't need to do anything to your breath. Not long, not short, just natural. Notice where you feel your breath in your body. It might be in your abdomen, it may be in your chest or throat or in your nostrils. See if you can feel the sensations of breath, one breath at a time. When one breath ends, the next breath begins. Now, as you do this, you might notice that your mind may start to wander. You may start thinking about other things. If this happens, it's not a problem. It's very natural. Just notice that your mind has wandered. You can say thinking or wandering in your head softly, and then gently redirect your attention right back to breathing. Stay here for 5 to 7 minutes. Notice your breath in silence. From time to time, you'll get lost in thought, then return to your breath. After a few minutes, once again, notice your body, your whole body seated here. Let yourself relax even more deeply, and then offer yourself some appreciation for doing this practice today. So let's move on to the top 5 tips to boost well-being. So we've already spoken about some of these things, but physical activity is essential for everybody, especially children. There's lots of benefit to gain from exercising, including that it fosters a positive mood and releases the stress of the day. After a day of thinking, especially a day at school, children need to be outside in the fresh air, either playing sports or simply playing. And at the moment, this can just be 5 to 10 minutes in the garden, a quick walk around the block, staying safe, but making sure that we're getting that exercise and fresh air that we need. Technology time, there's so much technology available to children nowadays, but it's important to limit the time, if we can, that children have on their screens. Setting clear and consistent guidelines from an early age makes it easier to reinforce these limits, and most technology now has timers, so it's easy to let children know when their time is up. Fostering positive relationships with others is important for children's well-being. The benefits from time spent with friends and family is that the children learn to share, compromise and listen, as well as develop conflict resolution skills. Fostering these relationships as a child will also help them maintain relationships in their adult life. Sleep is a really important element in maintaining good mental and physical well-being. Ensuring your child gets enough sleep each night is one of the most important practices you can develop as a parent. It's never too late to establish a nighttime routine, and it can include a bath, reading a story, or listening to quiet music, whatever works for you and your children. Building resilience. Being resilient is one of the most important qualities to develop in children. The ability to learn from mistakes and accept feedback, be persistent and not give up easily. This helps maintain positive well-being in children. Through modelling these qualities yourself, parents and educators can help children bounce back and move past mistakes and problems. Letting go is one of the best ways to maintain healthy well-being. And as an adult, I know I find that really difficult to let go of things that have troubled me throughout the day or throughout the week. But learning to do that and just to let go and know that you've tried your best, and again, reminding the children you've tried your best, we can move on and we can do something differently tomorrow rather than dwelling on something day after day. Other ways to help: be consistent, have clear explanations and expectations, have clear boundaries, make time for each child, talk and listen, and acknowledge that different ages will have different rules. So what worked for your child when they were younger may not necessarily work as they grow older. They may need you to support them in different ways with their mental health and well-being. Praising good behaviour, keeping calm, and also looking after yourself. Being a role model is really useful as well. Talking about your issues where appropriate with the children, and try and resolve a difficult situation to show that even as adults, we have to work at things, and that we have things that cause us stress and anxiety, and we have to take time out to figure out what to do. Getting more sleep yourself, doing something you enjoy, keeping yourself active, looking after yourself, which as a parent is very difficult because your children do come first. Working out what makes you happy, treating yourself to one positive thing a day, and remind yourself of what you're doing well. We are all really, really struggling at the moment with this new way of life that we've had to adapt to very quickly. And we've got to remind ourselves each day that we're doing the best we can. We're trying our best with our home learning, we're trying our best with our job roles and our family roles, and we're doing the best we can to ensure that our children are happy and safe. So some self-regulation activities. Self-regulation is the ability to manage your emotions and behaviour in accordance with the demands of the situation. So reflection, we can encourage the children at the end of the day to pause and reflect. What has happened that you really enjoyed today? Or what has happened that has left you feeling proud? What has happened that has left you feeling not quite yourself? And it's really important to look at the positive and the negatives as well, because the children need to remember that they're doing a great job and they are facing challenges every day that they're overcoming. Some things are too tricky, and some things might take a lot of time for them to figure out, but we can do that. We can work on that together. Thinking about self-esteem, a little exercise you can use is I am, I think I am, and I don't think I am. And children complete a simple table and discuss their reasons for choosing these things. So this is really interesting because it looks at the positive, what they think they are, what they think maybe they are. So what they're confident that they are, something that they think they are, and then something they don't think they are. And it's really interesting to see what the children come up with and see if they need support with what they don't think they're very good at. Maybe there's something we can support them with. Another activity is called squish and relax. So we can encourage the children to lie down. Sometimes we do this at school. We don't lie down, but we sit at our desk and we relax our body. Ask the children to close their eyes and ask them to squish and squeeze every muscle in their bodies as tight as they can. They can start with their toes and their feet, and they can squish the muscles in their legs, then squeeze up their stomach, then their hands into fists, and raise their shoulders up to their heads. Ask them to hold themselves squished up for a few seconds and then fully relax. This is a really good exercise for adults as well when you're feeling a little bit tense. Maybe you've been sat at a desk for too long, just to stand up, to stretch your body, and just to hold all of that tension and then release that tension. Making a calm down jar. These are a great way for children if they need something to help them to relax. So these calm down jars, you can add glitter, hot water, food colouring. You can make it with anything you like. You can add sequins. Lots of different things can go in there, and the children, when it's all made and glued together, the children can shake it, and it's just something nice to watch. You can try the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method, working backwards from 5, using your senses to list things you notice around you. For example, you might start by listing 5 things that you hear, then move on to 4 things you see, 3 things you can touch from where you are sitting or standing, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. Try to notice the little things that you might not always pay attention to. Maybe you can see the flecks of colour in the carpet that you've never really looked at before, or the hum of your computer. And this is a really good activity that we use with the children. We can sometimes do it outside as well, and it's a really nice opportunity for everybody to take some time to be quiet and focus on something else. Another activity, my beautiful place. Visualize a beautiful and peaceful place which makes you feel happy and calm. Close your eyes and picture this, and go to this place in your head when you feel anxious or sad. Children often have their favourite park or their favourite activity that they like to do, and this could be used in this activity just to remind them and distract them from their worries. Peaceful river. So this is a mindfulness script about a river, and you can use any picture, you could use any environment. It's just a way to ask the children to focus on something else and to take time out and to listen. So I'll read the Peaceful River mindfulness script for you. Close your eyes, be very still, and imagine you are in a small boat drifting down the river. Lie back and allow the soft breeze and river currents to move you gently along. As you lie there, let your whole body be completely still. You can feel the softness of the sunshine on your skin. You hear the birds singing quietly and the water rippling gently. You feel totally content and serene. As you lie there, let all of the muscles in your body relax. Breathe in and out and feel yourself sinking deeper and deeper into relaxation. Mindfulness walks. Children will love to do a notice walk. We can walk along noticing things we haven't seen before. It can be expanded into a safari walk by asking them to notice as many birds, bugs or creepy crawlies as they can. And this will turn a normal walk into an exciting adventure. So even if we manage to make a break in our day for just a short walk around the local woods or the local park, change the walk and think about something different while you're walking, just to ask the children to focus on something different. A laughter log. Children might like to make up a special book to record all of the different things that made them laugh in the last week. It's important to think about the big out loud laughs and the smaller quiet laughs as well, and record these. And when the children are feeling low or in a low mood, they can go back and look through the laughter log, and before they know it, they'll be laughing again. Another activity is called Notice and Stop, and this is to notice and stop the worries. So firstly, you need to notice what you're worrying about. Notice when you are worrying. This is the first step in making things better. If you feel a tummy ache or a headache and you're finding breathing is fast, or you'll notice you're thinking negative thoughts, then take note of these and acknowledge them. You can even keep a diary in words or pictures. When you notice you are worrying, say to yourself, stop, and see if you can get your brain into doing something else. Try thinking of something else, maybe something that you find relaxing and enjoyable, or try doing something to keep your brain occupied, like reading, watching a movie, doing a hobby, playing sports. We have a mindfulness calendar here with lots of different activities. This is a great way of doing something different each day for mindfulness. So the first one, counting breaths. Encourage the children to focus on their breathing by counting the number of in-breaths and out-breaths. I am breathing in 1, I am breathing out 1, I am breathing in 2, I am breathing out 2. Encourage them to do this until they reach the number 10. Have an attitude of gratitude. Ask the children to focus on their breathing. If they want to, they can close their eyes. Encourage them to think of one thing that they are grateful for and encourage them to keep this image in their mind. Ask them to notice any feelings or sensations that arise and continue this for a few minutes. This can also lead into a writing activity or a drawing activity. The best thing that happened today was, something I did well today was, I'll make the rest of the day great, bye. Using the senses, this is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. So 5 things they see, 4 things they hear, 3 things they smell, 2 things they can touch, and 1 thing they can taste. Colour breathing. Ask the children to sit or stand in a comfortable position. They can close their eyes if they wish. Imagine their favourite colour or a colour which helps them to feel calm. They are now going to take a breath in and imagine they are breathing in this colour. As they breathe out, they're going to imagine blowing a bubble made of this colour. And you can repeat this process for a few minutes and encourage the children to see if they can take longer, slower, and deeper breaths to blow larger imaginary bubbles. Birthday cake breathing. The children really like this one. We use this a lot at school. Ask the children to sit in a chair and place their hands on their bellies. Ask them to make their left hand into a fist and imagine it's a cake. Ask them to inhale, pretending to smell the cake, and then ask them to exhale, pretending to blow out the candle. and you can continue this for a few minutes. Feather breathing. If you can provide real feathers or cotton wool for this activity, it would be great, but otherwise children can use their imagination. Ask the children to sit comfortably on a chair and imagine there's a feather or a ball of cotton wool in front of them. If they have a feather or cotton wool, they can place this in one of their hands and hold their hand out in front of them. Then ask them to breathe in through their nose and breathe out slowly through their mouth in order to make the object float. Another great one that we do at school is finger counting. Ask the children to sit or stand in a comfortable position and to hold out one of their hands. Explain that as they breathe in for 5 counts, they will place each finger into the palm of their hand until their hand makes a fist. As they breathe out for 5 counts, they will uncurl each of their fingers, counting aloud and repeating this activity for a few minutes. Slimy hands. Ask the children to imagine they have a ball of slime in the palm of their hand. They're going to squeeze the slime as hard as they can as they breathe in. Then as they breathe out, they're going to open their hands, imagining the slime has spread across their hands. Rise and fall. Ask the children to sit in a chair comfortably. Ask them to imagine they are rising and falling with their breath. As they breathe in for 4 counts, they are slowly going to come to a standing position and stretch their arms into the sky. As they breathe out for 4 counts, they are slowly going to come to a seated position with their arms relaxed by their side. Remind them to coordinate their breathing with their rise and fall and continue this for a few minutes. All of these activities can be used as little brain breaks as well, and they incorporate mindfulness and also physical exercise, which is great. Relaxing muscles. Ask the children to lie down if they feel comfortable to do so, and lead them through the following muscle relaxations, starting with 1 through to 10. So again, this is similar to our squish and relax. They can start with their face, tense their face muscles, including their forehead, cheeks, mouth, and upper neck. Then roll their head from side to side. Tighten their shoulders and release. Tense their right arm from their shoulder to their fingers without making a fist or lifting arm off the floor. And do the same with their left arm. Gently tense their chest muscles and their abdomen without holding their breath and release. Tense their right hip and their left hip and their leg. And then, while no longer tensing any muscles, allow attention to drift back through the legs, abdomen, chest, arms, and back to the face. Another activity that's quite nice to do with children is think about things that make them happy. So, talking about mental health doesn't always need to be negative. We need to focus on the things that make them feel happy as well. And remember that it's completely natural to have positive and negative emotions. And some days we may have more positive than negative, and other days we may have more negative than positive, and that's okay. So what makes you happy? Children can draw pictures or write about them, or just talk about these with an adult. There's some useful websites that we can use. Placetobe.org has lots of information about improving children's mental health. There's a parent and carer section of the website, and it's got lots of ideas on there of how you can support your child's mental health. Young Minds as well also has a parent section that's really useful. The NHS has an area that talks about talking to your children about feelings and supports you in different ways of talking to your children. Childline has the Calm Zone and the Kids Zone, which children can use. So that under 12 area that we were talking about earlier with activities and games, and a Calm Zone just with different activities that children can do to stay calm. Mindful.org has a mindfulness area for kids, and so does Headspace. Headspace is quite often used by adults for meditation and mindfulness, but there's a kids area on the app as well, and they have a really good message that says be kind to your mind. And I think this is a really good way of explaining to children about mental health, that we need to be kind to our body. Physically, we look after our body, but we also need to be kind to our mind. The NHS, on the NHS website, the Alderhay Hospital had mindfulness activities for children, a PDF that's got lots of great activities as well. And all of these websites have mindfulness, meditation, and just lots of support for mental health and well-being. This week is Children's Mental Health Week. This year's theme is Express Yourself. And on the Place to Be website, there's lots of information on how you can support your child and lots of ideas. And it's just to raise awareness of children's mental health. And especially at the moment during a pandemic, we need to remember that the children are struggling too. We are struggling as adults to adapt to the change and to adapt to changes in our social life that we've never had to adapt to before. So if you want to visit this website, childrensmentalhealthweek.org.uk, there's lots of activities on there for you. Thank you for listening today. I hope that that's been helpful and useful, and I hope that some of those activities you can use with your children at home. They will be used to using them at school, so I'm sure they will be able to show you some of the activities that they enjoy to calm down. And hopefully we can support the children with their emotional well-being and their mental health, and ensure that children feel comfortable and happy talking to adults at home and at school. Thank you.